If you've been a part of the VTube space for a decent period of time, then you've probably seen one of these before. And if you haven't, well, allow me to explain. This is a tweet indicating that a certain VTuber group, in this case Lacunation, is looking for people who are willing to audition to become VTubers under their banner. Now, we've seen countless number of these in a variety of social media posts, from smaller indie VTuber startups to the largest VTuber corporations asking for auditioners to showcase their talents for the chance to become a VTuber under their label. We've also seen countless indie VTuber groups fall in a plethora of different ways, from simple disagreements to huge dramatic blowovers that end terribly for everyone involved. But Lacunation was different, and even if objectively it isn't different, it's different to me because, well, it's my story, and I want to talk about it. The Lacunation VTuber project, or just LCN for short, is a group based in Thailand that looked to feature both Thai and English male VTubers. On September 1st, 2021, the LCN Twitter account posted this tweet announcing their interest in gathering male VTubers, and I, along with many others, signed up hoping that this group would succeed where many other VTuber groups have crashed and burned. However, there was little to no information about LCN in any capacity, making prospects quite low and thus attention on the group quite small. The few supporters that were actually actively following LCN were largely on the Thai side, making it difficult to tell how much focus was going to be put on the English-speaking side. From taking the audition, it was clear that LCN was looking to feature 4 male talents, each representing one of the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter, and that they were looking for certain personality types matching each season. And so the audition passed all the way up to its deadline on October 15th, and the wait for its applicants began. Only around 5 days after the deadline on October 20th, I received an email congratulating me on my acceptance to the Lacunation VTuber project with a Discord link attached to the email. Completely baffled at the lack of interviews or any other selection process, I clicked the link, only to be greeted with an empty, unfinished Discord server with around 7 unknown users. After realizing that I was the last person to join, I scrolled through the text channels hoping to gather some information, only to see walls of text written in Thai. Confused, I decided to send a message in the main text chat, politely greeting and asking what is needed from me. It took a couple of hours for me to get a response from the server owner, and they requested to set aside some time for us to get into a Discord call and talk about what was going to happen. It didn't take me long to realize that the person I was speaking to not only did not speak English super well, was also younger than I am, and it took some time talking to figure out what exactly was going on. After speaking with this person, I realized that the Lacunation VTuber project was basically being created and held together with cardboard, hopes, and dreams. The 3 people who owned the group were all young, naive, and passionate people who just wanted to create a VTuber group where the talents could freely stream and create content with one another without having to worry about paying the group back in any way outside of just being a part of it. It was to contrast the many VTuber startups that were popping up at the time that were created to exploit other young and naive people who just wanted to stream and do the things they love without having to spend hundreds of dollars in order to tame their personal model, rigging, and branding. All LCN asked of us was to stream for a year, though even that was optional, stream under their banner, and fund as much of our streaming setup on our own. And in return, we get our own models and rigging. And so after giving us some time to prepare, LCN announced its talent on October 24th, 2021, and we all made ourselves known. Aspen Leaf, the apprentice to the god of autumn; Ren Everfrost, the apprentice to the god of winter; Haru Anzu, the apprentice to the god of spring; and Cyrus Apricot, the apprentice to the god of summer. Aspen was the only one of us that was a native Thai, and thus pretty much held the whole Thai audience of LCN in the palm of his sweaty, goblin-like hands. Despite how he looks, he was the most chaotic out of all of us, and that's saying something considering the fact that we have a murder hobo spring bunny. He was super out of pocket and also very talented and hardworking when it came to content creating, as when he came out of that gate, he came out with music, commissioned art, and stream assets ready to go before the rest of us even knew what the heck we were doing. He was the first to debut on November 20th, 2021, and he was also the most successful member of LCN as he did constant collabs, played a ton of different games, and released the most varied content compared to the rest of us. Haru was the other resident gremlin, but while Aspen was just chaotic, Haru took a much different approach. When you first meet or listen to him, the dude talks in uwu speak and has one of the cutest voices you'd ever heard, to the point where you start questioning your own sexuality. He's a thirst trap, and because he was also experienced in the VTuber space, he knew how to utilize his talents very well. But when you got to know him, you realized that while you were sitting there listening to him uwu at you, he had already stabbed you, taken your wallet, keys, chicken nuggets, and your heart. Haru was the second to debut on December 3rd, 2021, and while he probably streamed the most infrequently, his art and chill streams garnered quite a cult following moving forward. Ren is what you would expect Winter to be: cold, sarcastic, dry, and narcissistic. While Haru worked as a sort of thirst trap for dudes, Ren was our resident womanizer, as he had the most pretty boy looks, and in a way he certainly had some webtoon Ice Prince vibes. Despite Ren being completely new to the streaming space, he adapted very well, as he developed a close group of friends as soon as he could, resulting in a very successful debut on December 17th, 2021, and an overall great streaming record moving into the new year due to his gaming prowess and competitive nature. Despite being complete opposites thematically, Cyrus, me, has a lot in common with Ren. But while Ren is cold and dry, I had a much warmer approach, with constant laughter accompanying my teasing in contrast to Ren's stone-faced sarcasm. Though I struggled quite a bit at adapting to social media and being a VTuber, I slowly found my niche, and despite having the least successful debut on January 4th, 2022, through my consistent long streams of a wide variety of games, I managed to carve out a small community for myself. Overall, the debuts of LCN's talents went very well. All 4 talents streamed at their own pace, and announcements of collabs and projects featuring the 4 members generated quite a bit of excitement in each member's individual communities. The few interactions of the members on stream were successful and fun to watch, and it seemed that LCN was going to flourish. But on January 24th, 2022, Aspen released a music cover of Shanti on his YouTube channel, and the music was, in my humble opinion, fire. Little did we know, however, that this would be the last we would ever hear of Aspen, as he would completely cease all activities following the music video. Over the course of 2022, Aspen would become more and more difficult to reach for even the other LCN talents, until he eventually completely disappeared, taking his stream VODs with him by deleting them all. Haru didn't stream very often once 2022 hit, only showing up once a week at best or once a month at worst. Eventually, on March 18th, Haru announced his hiatus due to his voice acting up, and while he would continue to occasionally appear in Cyrus or Ren streams a little while after that, he slowly became more and more inactive. On June 5th, Haru released a tweet stating that he is planning on returning to streaming soon, only for it to be the last that most anyone would ever hear of the Spring Bunny. Ren streamed quite infrequently, but he was still quite active as he involved himself in many collabs with other VTubers. Over the course of the year, Ren would stream less and less, but would appear in many streams of other VTubers and remain active for quite some time. Ren's last stream occurred on May 23rd, 2022, and while he did continue to appear in other streams, eventually his online presence stopped altogether. Funnily enough, Ren did a return stream on February 2nd, 2023, with the intention of regularly streaming again, but he disappeared after doing one more stream 1 week later. The Lacunation managers weren't very hands-on by policy, and while they did try to stick around and help whenever they could, they too ceased all activities after a few months into the year of 2022. Cyrus, despite being the least successful LCN member, was the only one who continued to consistently stream all throughout 2022, eventually surpassing the others' milestones by quite a bit. And while my streams became more infrequent once 2023 rolled around, I did my best to continue being as active as I possibly could in order to keep my community updated on what was going on. On November 7th, 2023, I was looking through my Discord servers, only to realize that the Lacunation official Discord servers and Twitter accounts have been deleted. There was no announcement of the disbandment of LCN, nor were there any exact dates on when everything was deleted. The VTuber project just faded away, as if it never existed in the first place. And the Lacunation VTuber project story comes to a close. Yet the stories for each individual LCN member still goes on, though not under the same banner. I got in contact with Aspen earlier in 2023, and let's just say that he's doing very well for himself. I still occasionally converse with Ren about random bullcrap, and Haru, well, he's the only one I couldn't get into contact with since he disappeared, but I'm sure he's doing fine. Probably starting some random cult in the deepest depths of hell or something. As for me, well, at the very least, I'm still around, and unless something unexpected happens, I will continue to be around. But for now, I think it's about time to officially announce the end of the Lacunation VTuber project.